Hi everyone, I'm Victor Howell. In just a moment, we're going to enjoy our first full weekend of game notes here on LPB, and we're going to have fun for 60 minutes talking about college football. But it's a game, and I have to be open and honest with you, this has been anything but a fun week here at LPB. On Tuesday of this week, we found out that our teammate, our friend, our co-worker, Dorothea Wilson, had suffered a medical episode on Tuesday morning, leaving Metairie, coming to work here in Baton Rouge. Unfortunately, we lost Dorothea Tuesday night. Dorothea is from the city of New Orleans. She's a proud graduate, Northwestern State in Natchitoches. She went to work in Monroe and then made her way to Arkansas before wanting to come back closer to home. So she got a job here at LPB 1 year ago, about the same time I started reporting sports here for LPB. She loved telling the stories. She loved sports. She was so happy for this network. She was so happy for me personally to see Game Notes take off, bringing sports for the first time to LPB. We would talk college football. We would talk about the show. We'd talk about her demons in Natchitoches. But she certainly loved bouncing off the topics and stories about her beloved New Orleans Saints, asking me what I thought. Can they win so many games? She just enjoyed being a part of it all. The last time I saw her was 1 week ago Friday. As she was leaving the studio, she reminded me, good luck with the preview show, and don't forget, I want a hat and I want a shirt. And I told her, I got your back. We're going to have fun talking sports, but it's been a tough week. It'll be a tough couple of weeks. We'll get through it, but we'll never forget her. She'll always be here, and we will always miss seeing her in this chair. So as we get ready to talk about college football and your favorite team, I ask you if you would, just take a moment, remember Dorothea, remember her family, and if you would, remember our family as we get through this together, as we will dearly miss Dorothea Wilson, but she will never, ever be forgotten.
Major production funding for Game Notes is provided by...
You have what it takes to begin your journey. Curiosity, ingenuity, intellect, determination. Through a vast portfolio of affordable and in-demand academic programs, hundreds of student-focused activities, and wraparound services, Southern University meets you where you are, giving you the tools and support that lead you to a successful career in the sciences or the arts. Begin with your goals anywhere. Finish stronger at Southern University at subr.edu.
Hargrove Engineers and Constructors is proud to support LPB. Since 1995, Hargrove has been employee-owned and relationship-driven. With 2,700 teammates around the world, Hargrove works as one team to go beyond expectations. With additional support from Lafayette Travel, the LSU Alumni Association, and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center at LSU, Louisiana Tech University, Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Northwestern State University, Red Stick Sports, the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion, the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you. Thank you.
The wait is over. Football season is in full effect. We are kicking off 2025 with action all across the state, all across the country, and we are ready to go here on Game Notes. Welcome, everybody, with Scott Shanley, my Super Bowl partner. I'm Victor Howell. Great to have you with us. We've got a full slate of games to preview, and Scott, it's a long wait. As soon as the season ends, you're already looking forward to next year. All of the camps, week 0, yes, we had some action from there, but here we go, in full effect for the college football season.
Yeah, it's time to go. We have so much coverage now throughout the entire year. There really is no offseason. You get tons of information from whatever school you follow, the players you follow, the portal transfers, the recruits, and now it's time you want to see all those things put on the field. And some people are going to be disappointed early on. Some people are going to be more excited early on, but it's an exciting time. Just seeing all those games on yesterday and really the start of college football season this past week, it's exciting.
And we are thrilled to get going with our first full edition of Game Notes preview. Let's talk about what's coming up here in the next 60 minutes as we will get you set for the action around the state. Starting up in Ruston, where it's an in-state showdown between the Bulldogs from Louisiana Tech and the Lions from Southeastern, and both of those teams will be making their way to Baton Rouge. We'll talk about that later. The Colonels in week 0, they kicked off the entire college football world for the country, and boy, did the defense shine in that big win for the Colonels. And speaking of big wins, that's the Demons from Northwestern State in victory formation. It's been a hot minute. We will talk about the celebration from Thursday Night Football in Natchitoches coming up here in the next 60 minutes. But we will start first with the big game involving the biggest team in the state, and that, of course, being the LSU Tigers in one of the biggest matchups, not only in Louisiana, but in the country. They'll be playing in Tiger Stadium at Death Valley, not the Baton Rouge Death Valley, it's the other Death Valley, as they'll be on the road once again facing the Clemson Tigers. No more neutral games. This is a top 10 showdown between the Tigers of LSU and Dabo Swinney's Tigers over in Clemson. Both of them have storylines to be told. The last time these two teams met, the two quarterbacks playing in this game that are both preseason Heisman Trophy candidate type players. We'll talk about all of that in just a moment. But for LSU, they'd like to do something they haven't done in quite a while. They'd like to head into week 2 with a win under their belt.
There's no hiding from the fact that we've lost the last 5 openers, and that's something that we've acknowledged and we've accepted, and I think we've changed the way we think in order to make that correction.
We needed to do some things differently this year, and that is embrace this opener and embracing it in a manner that this is a big game, and it's a tangible goal for our football team to want to be 1-0. It's not let's warm it up into the season. We want to be ready for this football game.
Scott, that was an interesting comment because that happened a month ago at Media Day. A lot of Tiger fans are saying, wait, so now we're taking it seriously? Or what they've done? But here's what LSU has done under Brian Kelly. Remember, neutral site in the Superdome where they scored late, missed the kick, they lose by 1. Then they go to Orlando. The game got away from them in those back-to-back matchups with Florida State. From Florida to Vegas last year with USC, again, got away from them late. The Trojans get the win. This is a true road game. Clemson will come to Baton Rouge in a year, but you're opening it at a true road game. Scott, let's put it in perspective. The last time LSU won a season-opening ball game, you and I were covering the team for the national championship. It was the Joe Burrow year, 2019, is the last time this LSU program has started a season with a season-opening win.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I think when you look at it as a glass-half-full type of guy, they're playing really good teams. They're kicking this college football season off and doing all college football fans a favor by playing these tough opponents. These are playoff-type matchups, number 4 versus number 9. So I think part of it is LSU is playing great opponents out the gate. They just need to find a way to finish. And I think when you hear Coach Kelly talk about it, obviously they take every game serious, but he wants his team ready to go out the gate. Doesn't have to wait until week 2 or 3. Some of that is the way you practice. You do more ones versus ones. You get more speed versus speed early on in camp than maybe you really want to, but you have to get up to game level right away.
And Brian Kelly said now for months what they've done around the football complex, the Clemson Tiger Paw. No purple and gold Tigers. It's Clemson's orange, the Tiger Paw. They had it on video monitors. They had them on doors because they wanted the focus to be, this is not what the people will call a rent-to-win. This is a big-time matchup against a top 10 opponent, top 5 opponent for Clemson. Get your focus now in June. Get focused now on the orange and purple that we're about to go face.
There's no question. I think when you look at Texas, Ohio State, you have LSU versus Clemson. These are playoff type matchups. These are games that everybody's going to be looking at. Just general college football fans across the country, general managers and scouts. There is tons of talent on the field with Clemson and LSU. There are going to be a lot of players scouted for playing on Sundays. And then you break it down even further. You go to their quarterback. 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country are playing in this game, so a lot of eyeballs on this game for a lot of reasons.
Last week in our preview show, we talked about Nussmeier and everything he's bringing. Let's talk about the opponent, because Cade Klubnik, outstanding, not only season 1 year ago, he's had an outstanding career at Clemson. 57 career touchdown passes, 18 interceptions, but here's the other factor. He also brings 13 rushing touchdowns under his belt in his career. So he can hit you on the ground, but he can get you through the air.
Yeah, Cade, he was a huge recruit, 5-star recruit out of Westlake High School, where Drew Brees played in Austin, Texas, won state championships. So he was a highly sought-after player, played a lot early on in his career at Clemson, but he really had a breakout year last year. 36 touchdowns with 6 interceptions. That ratio, you're going to win a lot of games when your quarterback is that productive and doesn't turn the football over. So he definitely makes his Clemson offense go. And with every rep, you could see him last year start off a little bit slow, but as he got more reps throughout last year, got a lot better. And some people project him as the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He's definitely going to be a first-round pick.
Everybody knows about the quarterback matchup, but what about all the other players that these two head coaches know they'll be trying to scheme for Saturday night in Clemson?
Similar to us in a lot of ways, in that they've got elite quarterback play, elite skill, and they got dudes in the trenches on both sides.
There will be a couple of positions where we'll have some rotation, and I think it will be good for us. I think it makes us better. And so, we look at, different battles, right? We're going to play a number of defensive ends and defensive tackles. It's because we'll be better because of it. I think the same thing would be true on the offensive line. You're going to see more than just 5 guys out there. You'll see, at least 6 or 7, could be as many as 8 offensive linemen playing for us. Oh yeah. It's okay to rotate offensive linemen in. They can do that too.
Yeah, in our preview show, we talked about the defense and the emphasis of getting that talent. Don't forget, you lost 2 big-time offensive linemen for LSU in the NFL. Oh. So you're going to see some rotation up there up front getting ready for this defense. There's your matchup. It's 6:30 tonight, LSU and Clemson. LSU leads the all-time series. Last time they met was the national championship game that we referenced earlier, and this game will be broadcast on ABC. Of course, LSU does a lot of things with jerseys, just like in the NFL at your level, who's going to wear the C. LSU has it with numbers, and they announced it about a week and a half ago. Garrett Nussmeier, he's loved his number 13, but he said if he was given the opportunity to wear 18, he would. He will be wearing the number 18 for LSU this year as quarterback. And Harold Perkins, we talked about him coming back. He's still going to wear number 7. He had that honor a year ago, but 3 weeks into the season, he was done for the year.
Yeah, I think this is one of the coolest traditions in all college football. The numbers for LSU, number 18, number 7. And a lot of players get attached to numbers, but you suddenly lose that attachment to the number you've worn since middle school or high school. As soon as LSU gives you 18 or 7, it's such a proud moment for these guys, and I love that LSU, you see former players coming out and talking about what that number meant to them when they were able to. I think it's just much like you said, it's like a C on the jersey, but it's bigger than that. It's a huge honor in terms of what it means to the LSU football fraternity and how it stands out and what your role and expectation is on the field and in the locker room.
Yeah, we have about a minute left here, and I know this game is SEC versus ACC, but if you haven't been paying close attention, the SEC made a big announcement looking forward starting in 2026, and it's the scheduling game. We always talk about the gauntlet. 8 games. Now the SEC has announced they're going to go to 9 games. Scott, it's going to change the permanent rotation. You're going to have 3 in a rotation within a 2-year span. At some point, you'll have played everybody, either on the road, having them come at home. But the importance that you see about what you see on the screen here, the fact that they're now going to 9 conference games starting next season.
Yeah, I love it, and I think a lot of college football fans love it. There may be some coaches that don't like it, but this is, I think the advantage of the college football playoff going to more teams is one loss here or there doesn't hurt you. It doesn't knock you out of the college football playoff. Nobody wanted to play 9 opponents from the SEC because you felt like, wow, that's a gauntlet, to your point. We're going to stumble somewhere. Now, with you have an opportunity to still make the college football playoff. That's what it's all about. And so I love it. I think this is great for college football. SEC, you can argue all day. Big Ten, SEC, best conference in football. SEC for a long time has been pumping players out to the NFL. You want to see these teams play. So I think it was a great move by the conference.
Well, that game will be played in Clemson tonight between LSU and Clemson. But up in North Louisiana, we've got a matchup of 2 teams that will be playing in Baton Rouge down the road this season. It's a matchup of Louisiana Tech and the Lions from Southeastern.
This is a really good football team in Southeastern Louisiana. Coach Selfo's been there for a long time. You watch them, on offense, defense, and special teams, and I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me is their athleticism and speed. They're a really fast football team.
The system is fast-paced. There'll be 10 and 11 personnel. They'll be spread. You'll see the ball snap faster than anybody else we play this year. I'll tell you that. So defensively, we got to be prepared, get lined up, making sure we don't have anybody running free down the field.
Of course, Louisiana Tech will be the home opener next week for LSU in Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Southeastern will make a trip to Baton Rouge in 3 weeks when they will face the Tigers. I love seeing these in-state matchups, though. Sonny Cumbie in his 5th year up there trying to turn things around. Feels like he has the momentum going for the Bulldogs. And Selfo in his 8th season at the Lions, 3 of the last 5 years, they've made it to the FCS playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match. I think it's always fun when you kick off the season and it's in-state battle, just right down the road. You go down, some of these guys played against each other in high school, but I think the variable with these first games of the season is, especially with the NIL, or not the NIL, but the transfer portal, some of these teams can revamp in a hurry. So maybe somebody had a weak secondary a year ago, a weak pass rush, just like that, a player can change it. So you never know what you're going to get early on, and a lot of times you're studying tape and film of a player at an old school, running an old defense or an old offense. So there's a lot of unknowns going into the first games of the year.
There's a new turf up there in the stadium in Ruston that the players will get to enjoy, but how many will be in the stands to watch it? It's not that they're not interested, but here's the unique factor, Scott, with Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs are on the 9-week scale. They don't go by semesters. It's a 9-week scale. They haven't kicked in full for school yet. Labor Day is coming next week, and then they're going to be arriving. So how many students have made their way to campus? Look, they're always excited for football. They'll be there, but it is an interesting aspect for the atmosphere there in Louisiana Tech that not the entire student body is ready to go. They're finishing up their vacations. Maybe they're moving in, but they'll be hosting the action up there in Ruston later tonight between the Lions and the Bulldogs. And one of the big questions that we'll get from this, who's playing quarterback, not just for one team, but for both of these teams?
We've had, I guess, probably 19 practices in fall camp. We've ran, each quarterback has gone with the three quarterbacks we've had. Blake, Evan, and Trey have all taken reps with the ones, and so we'll decide that come Saturday right before kickoff, and I'm excited about all three.
We'll play multiple quarterbacks, and if somebody gets a hot hand, they'll stay in there.
I think all three are really, kind of they're unique in their skill set. I think we can win a championship with all three because they're in the game.
Look, we've been in the playoffs 3 times since I've been here, and we've had 3 different starting quarterbacks. So you don't have to have the same guy every time. You can win if you do a good enough job. You can win with whatever you got. And last year should have been 4 really, but it's just we'll play 2 guys, maybe 3, and see who's playing well. Again, these are guys that hadn't played for us, right? So once you get into a game, you get a better feel for who they are and what they're about, and then see where you can grow with them.
I'm looking forward to all 3 of them when they get their opportunity, and I know with the players around them, they're going to make plays.
Everybody keeping it close to the vest, not letting you know who's going to start. So get your popcorn, get seated early up there in Ruston, and find out with the Lions from Southeastern and Louisiana Tech with the 6:30 kick. Tech has won 11 straight season openers at home. The last time they opened a season and lost in Ruston, you got to go back to 1978. It was 4 years ago when these two teams last met in a game that had over 1,000 total yards. Tech came out on top 45-42. And if you want to check out the action, you can. This game will be streamed on ESPN+. Earlier this week, after Frank Selfo held his weekly press conference to kick off the season, we had a chance to catch up with him one-on-one and talk a little more about his Lions program. How did camp go? You finally made it through camp. Now it's game time.
Yeah, it was warm. Camp was warm this year. It was good. We didn't. I think we stayed relatively injury-free. We've always got the same strains and bumps and bruises, but it's the season. It's no different than anybody else. So we're looking forward to where we got to go.
Any pleasant surprises coming out of camp? I know as a coaching staff, you'll sit down and you have areas you want to develop, areas you need to evaluate. Anything pleasant surprises come out of camp?
I think probably the biggest thing for me was the growth that we saw. I don't think there's any 1 or 2 guys. I think is the units on offense, defense, and special teams, how we saw our team grow throughout the course of camp. Because that's what you want to do, right? You don't want to take that step back. And I don't think we did that. I think we continued to step forward the entire time. And that's why I feel like it was a productive camp for us.
And how much of that do you attribute to the experience you have coming back? Because I know you can't put a price on experience, but you have a lot of it in key places. The offensive line, 3 big ones back with a lot of experience. You have one, it seems like, at every major tier on the defensive side.
Yeah, I think that's where, when you go back and look at it, we felt like that as we went through the summertime. We didn't have to make a lot of adjustments this summer. Things fell into place. Guys did what they needed to do. We had people in the right spots when they needed to be there. And when you go through those things, you leery a little bit that can camp go this smooth, and it did. And it's because of our leadership. It's because of our locker room. It's because of our best players, our hardest workers. And when those things happen, now I think you got a chance, and you have a camp like we did.
The fact you have so many. I mean, how many teams have 24 guys with 4 years of experience in this day and age, and 6 players with 6 years of experience?
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes for who we are as an organization, right? That we're doing the right things. And we're having a culture around here of inclusion where our guys can come in here and they can be the best that they can possibly be. They know they're going to get developed. They know they're going to get coached. But they also know there's going to be fair and honest opinions of what we're able to do with them. And we're going to get the best out of them, and they're going to be able to give their best and grow and develop to however good they can be. And if it means they got to go somewhere else, so be it. But if they stay here, they're going to be able to bear the fruits of their labor right here in Strawberry Stadium.
Carson Camp, Kyle Lowe, your 2 new quarterbacks coming in, new to the program, not new to college football, both with experience. Were you pleased with the way they were able to get involved in the system and learn your system here?
Yeah, I think both of them do really a good job of from a leadership standpoint. They have those personalities which allow them to go out in front and bring guys with them and elevate other people. I think that's where the biggest part. Their knowledge of the game is good. They just have to have knowledge of our system. when are we going to find out how good they did? Well, when we start the games, right? When they start playing the games is when we're going to find out just exactly how much they've been able to grasp. But I've been really pleased with how much they have taken what they've learned in the classroom and put it on the practice field, and now let's see it translate to the game.
And I know it's not an issue for you to play two quarterbacks. Have you talked to them about playing two? I know it's that situation. You need them both to be ready, but they're both battling to want to be starters. But in the end, it's who contributes, right?
Yeah. Well, there's very few teams that go through an entire season with one quarterback. Injuries take place, and when they do, we lost our quarterback last year, and Damon Stewart. He went out for the season in the Tarleton game. If we don't develop anybody else and get anybody else ready to play, we're starting brand new in conference with a guy who doesn't have any reps and any experience. Well, I didn't want that to happen. And I've never wanted that to happen. I've done it for decades in this game, and we'll continue to do it. And I always said the competition will bring out the best in both guys, and that's what's happened.
You got Louisiana Tech coming up. Dakota Williams used to play at Tech. Any fun insight from him since he spent a couple years up there in Ruston?
Not really. They changed systems. So, the offense, defense, all that's changed. So his knowledge of what they're doing right now, he doesn't have any. So he's had a good camp with us. We've been pleased with him, and we need to get more out of it.
I know ratings in August don't mean what they do in October and November moving forward. As it is, though, the team that was picked to win it, ranked 4th in the country, lost big. I know you were picked 3rd, and you're only a couple points being away from being picked 2nd preseason. But having watched that first game, I wanted to know what's the message you gave to your team when it comes to expectations, upsets, rankings, when you saw what Nichols did to UIW over the weekend.
It's not coach speak. I just think it's honesty, and we do that. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says, and it doesn't matter what the media says or does, or other teams say. It's what we do. It's what we talk about and how we handle ourselves, and that's the only thing that's the only thing we care about. So they're not going to hear from me about that game, because that game means nothing to us. We play UIW week 12 and Nichols week 13. They'll be completely different teams by then. So none of that has anything to do with us. What has something to do with us is us. We're going to take care of us this week, have a great week of practice, trust what we're doing is the right thing, and then let it go on Saturday.
8th season here. You still having as much fun and excited about week 1 as you did in 1982-83 at Prairieville High School?
Yeah, there's no doubt, man. It's just, what's good is the preparation. The game, I'm not saying the games are anticlimactic, but the growth that you have in your team is what's so fun to watch. That's the part, the grind every day, watching guys go to work every day and preparing and getting ready for the game. That's the part that you like more than anything else. When you see a freshman turn into a senior and the growth that he had. And we took some pictures of some of our seniors the other day, and then right behind it, we put up a picture of them as a freshman when they got in, and the changes that take place. That's what it's all about. This is my 44th year, and I'm as excited now as it was year 1.
Week 1 for the Lions this season. Week 1 for Game Notes. We're looking forward to covering you all season long, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations on Game Notes. That's going to be awesome. Be great addition to the Louisiana sports scene.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Great to visit.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
We certainly appreciate Coach giving us the time and look forward to covering them. And later this season, they'll be facing McNeese, who kicks off the season at home in the newly named Navarre Stadium against Louisiana Christian. That's a 6 o'clock kick later on tonight, as we talked about in our preview show. Matt Viator back for his second stint, just 1 win away from the all-time wins record at McNeese. Cowboys are 17-2 all-time against the Wildcats, and this game will also be streamed and broadcast on ESPN Plus for Cowboy fans. Scott, this is one of those games for the McNeese Cowboys against a smaller Louisiana Christian team. They should have no trouble winning. But for them, let's talk about the importance of, once again, getting in action. Matt Viator is new to these kids, not to the program.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, was the last time he brought them to the playoffs. Then he moved on. Now he's back. So this is an opportunity for them to say, okay, we've worked in camp. Let's see how much we know before we have to face teams like Southeastern later in the season.
No question. And I think anytime you return to a place where you had success, the first thing you want to do is establish an identity. This is what I want us to look like. This is what I said on our pre-season show. When you see that logo on the side of the helmet, that cowboy, the McNeese Cowboy, you think of smart, tough, physical, good fundamental football, and that's what he wants to bring back. And that can start in week 1, starting off fast, doing the blocking and the tackling, doing the little things right early on in the season can set the tone.
And it's been a camp for Viator to get used to these new players and see who he will put in the lineup and when, as he talked about getting ready for this kickoff.
I have no idea who, so don't ask me who the starter is going to be at running back. I have no clue. We know that we're going to play 3 guys early in the game. They've all earned the right to play, whether it's Bryce Strong or Trevante Citizen or Kobe Ham. They're all three going to play. Hopefully maybe Jalen Thompson can play as well. All of those kids are also going to be very involved in special teams. I mean, you're going to see them covering kicks. You're going to see them on punts. So they're going to be heavily involved in the game. College football, unlike high school or pro, there's no scrimmages in the jamboree like high school, and there's no preseason games. I mean, what you see is the first time you chunk everybody out there, and, we hope to heck that we're prepared, and new staff. So we've taken a couple times in the scrimmage. Then last night we put the headsets on, coach-to-player communication. How's it all working from the sideline? Get people in, get people on the field, get them off the field. These two guys are down. So we've had 2 dry runs of that, and so again, typical first game stuff.
As you can hear Matt Viator say, it's all about the little things, getting ready, and the Cowboys will start all of that tonight. But guess what? Thursday night in Natchitoches, football for the season kicked off in the state of Louisiana. The number 1,022. Hold on to that number for just a moment, okay? Because the Demons were at home in Natchitoches taking on Alcorn State to kick off the season. Thursday night football, getting it done in the state. Let's take you there and show you how things played out early on for the Demons. Abram Johnson, he's a redshirt freshman quarterback from Baton Rouge, played at Parkview Baptist. He hits Ty Moore for the touchdown, and the Demons had the momentum up 6-0. Later in the first, 4th and 4, the Alcorn snap going over for the punter. Whee! It's way over his head, and it's a bad sprint to the back. It's actually Moore again on special teams. Picks it up. It's a scoop and score, and the Demons are now up 13-0. Later for Alcorn. Watch this interception by Christian Williams. Alcorn taking a shot to the end zone. Bounce, and he catches it off the bounce. Let's take another look. Look at the focus staying in the end zone as it deflects off his teammate, bounces in the air, and it's a pick for the Demons. Late third quarter, Orlandis McLaurin jumps this route. As you see it again with the interception, a great pass, a great catch, and the Demons are in business. Now, Orlandis McLaurin is going to jump the route here for Alcorn's defense, and this is what gets them on the board. Coming near side, he's gone. Nobody in there, 72 yards. He takes it for the score. Hey, just like that, it's 13-7. They then add a field goal. Hold on now. It's 13-10. Alcorn making a run. But, Scott, I want you to watch the determination by Kobe Burrell. Watch this run. When he hits the line on this third down, oh, he stopped. No, he's not. There he goes. He breaks it left side, 32 yards to get the first down to keep the drive going and the determination. Later on, you'll see Ryan Tyler, the fullback. Yes, a true fullback. Powers it into the end zone. Scott, what's the best formation in football?
Victory formation.
You better believe it. They haven't done this in 1,022 days. But the Demons from Northwestern State open up the season in victory formation. The students hit the field. Celebration is on in Natchitoches because the Demons get the win, 20-10 over Alcorn State. Abram Johnson, the quarterback we talked about, 85 passing yards. He hit 7 different receivers and only took 9 passes. 69 rushing yards, got the touchdown. 7 different receivers making a catch in the debut. Their next game on the road at Minnesota. But that's way down the road. We still have to celebrate what happened Thursday night with a win for the Demons.
I said to people the last week or so, I don't think I've ever seen a team and a campus and a city as in need of a win as this football team, this university, and Natchitoches did. I think it just allows everybody to kind of take a sigh of relief and lets people know that this football program that this city and this campus loves so much is still alive and well, and we're going to be A-OK, and a new day's coming.
Yeah, it's awesome knowing that so many people are behind us for how long this program has been down, and that this many people still support us and still have our backs and will still come out and support us was unbelievable. And I think it's only going to grow now that we got that winless streak off our back. All off season, like, this is all you can think about. But I think this is going to open us up to play so much freely and better. Like, we're going to just play better now that we don't have that like winless streak weighing on our back.
1,022 days. Now it's 0. So I told the guys in the locker room after the game that when we woke up this morning, we had the longest losing streak in the country. Saturday night, when all the games are over with, we'll have a longer winning streak than half the teams in the country. That's pretty cool to think about. So see if we can hold on to it.
Love to hear the perspective, Scott, as you take a look at the final numbers for Northwestern State. It's been a long time coming. As we talked about in the preview show, they've been in the heat the last 3 years. They've been grinding the same way. They finally got to see the reward.
So cool. I mean, to see the smiles on those kids' faces and how happy the coaches are for them. I think the best part about this is you get almost a little mini bite to celebrate it even more. Coaches always say 24-hour rule, you got to be on the next game. These guys, you deserve the right to celebrate it for 48 hours at least before you get on to that Minnesota game. Such a cool story of perseverance and just having a positive attitude, and what that can do to flip your season. Your mindset can completely change with a win.
And McCorkle's got such a great attitude, keeping those guys focused for what they are going to do. Now, Northwestern State actually was the first kickoff Thursday night. There were 2 games in the state. They were supposed to be kickoff number 2. Mother Nature had other plans. The Warhawks on UL Monroe were supposed to kick off at 6 o'clock, but a 2-hour lightning delay had the Demons kick off, and then, yes, that front went through Natchitoches, so they had their delay mid-game. But let's take you to Monroe and show you the other action from Thursday night, where it's the second year for head coach Bryant Vincent. UL Monroe was hosting St. Francis. Interesting here, St. Francis is about to drop down to NAIA. This was their first plane trip for a game, you ready for this, in 10 years. Wow. What a great experience to come up there and open it up on a Thursday night against the Warhawks. Opening drive of the game, 2nd and 22. That's Braylon McReynolds. Remember, we talked about him 1 week ago. He's a transfer from South Alabama. He talked about wanting to make an impact. Well, he did there. Look at how close it is. Does he get in? Oh, they had to go to review. He lines just short, 74 yards. He needed 74 and a half, and it would have been a touchdown. But no worries. Hunter Herring, next play, over the top of the touchdown. 6 plays, 81 yards on the drive in 3 minutes. That's how the Warhawks open it up. It's 7-0. Second quarter now, same score. Aiden Armenta now is in at quarterback. He buys some time, finds Tyler Griffith between 3 defenders, 65 yards for the, oh no, not the yellow. Scott, it's holding, it's coming back. The offensive loses a big play on that one with holding, bringing it back. Later in the second, Armenta finds Jake Godfrey. This is good for 25 yards down the near sideline. That's a first down. 3 plays later on 4th and 2, Armenta again, buying time, rolls right. Rico Powers, 18 yards. It would lead to a field goal. ULM is up 10-0 at the half, but you know it could have been more. They left it on the field. Opening drive of the second half, 2nd and 13. Armenta, misdirection, throws back to who? Mr. McReynolds, 13 yards on the touchdown, 10 plays, 75 yards. The Warhawks go on and get the win. McReynolds, 113 yards rushing on his debut. He had 100 yards last year total at South Alabama, so he wanted to make an impact. He did make an impact. 133 total yards from scrimmage. You see the rushing yards there dominated by the Warhawks, and their next game will be on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. So it's a 29-0 win. You feel good, right, Coach? Kind of?
I just don't think we executed well offensively at all early. You know, we've had lightning delays here. We had 4 the first 3 days of camp. So we can sit here and we're not going to make excuses, and that's what I told them in the locker room. There are no excuses. The days of excuses are gone, and we've just got to put our head down and we've got to go to work. You know, we've got to go to work and we've got to get better. We get 2 extra points blocked. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it should not happen, and we've got to get better at that. So we'll work hard to clean up a lot of our things. I think this team has a chance to be a really good football team, and that's why we're so hard on ourselves, because, you know, we don't accept anything but the best, and that's our expectation, and we're going to continue to go down that path.
So feels good for getting the win, but wants to get better. We'll see what they could do next week. How about the matchup between Nichols and Troy? The Colonels will be at Troy later on this evening. It's the first matchup, as you can see, since 2001. The Trojans lead the all-time series, but this is actually going to be game 2 for Nichols. Why? Because they played week 0, not just in Louisiana, for all of college football in America. There was 1 game played overseas. Nichols played the first game of the college football season last Saturday, and what a great atmosphere down in Thibodaux for Tommy Rybacki, making his debut as the new head coach of the Nichols Colonels, and they got to work, and it wasn't just offensively, it's what the defense did in this ballgame. Incarnate Ward was up 3-0 at the half, but this pass coming near side, they jump the route, and it's a touchdown. Jake Delmato, they bring it in, he gets the hit, and knocks the ball all the way on the other side of the field, knocks it out of bounds. Colonels take over and they tie it up at 3. Sets up great field position for Gabe Showalter from 38 yards out. Next play, here's the one, Scott Jopping at Ty Marsh. Jumps the route, very next play of this ball game after the kickoff, he's gone. It's a pick 6. And just like that, the Colonels take a 10-3 lead. Scott, it's all about the anticipation at this position, isn't it?
Absolutely. When you're out there on an island at corner, it's about sitting back and reading the quarterback's eyes. Great job of just playing zone coverage and making a play on the ball.
He does it, gives the Colonels the lead. They have that lead going into the break. In the fourth quarter, it's 13-6. Watch again on this hit. Dancing his way to the end zone is Tim Carter, but wait, holding. This could have tied the ball game for Incarnate Word. Instead, they lose it because of a penalty, and then they don't score. So next possession for Nichols, Deuce Hogan drops it in the basket. Karaj Johnson goes all the way, 55 yards for the touchdown. The Colonels dominate the day against the number 4 team in the country. No more. The team picked to win the conference already has a loss on its schedule because the Colonels' defense stood strong against UIW. Tommy Rybacki could not have been more pleased for a guy who is a defensive coordinator, but he watches his team win. Why? Because of defense domination. 20-6, and it could have been worse because they left opportunities on the field. 4 sacks, 5 forced turnovers, 11 tackles for loss for the Nichols defense. Afterwards, as you can imagine, Rybacki was proud.
I think today was just them going out and being able to prove it. To prove it and put it on tape that, hey, we are a team, we can play this way. And, when we do that, we got great opportunity to win games. We got a bunch of guys who love to come in here every day and work really, really hard, and I appreciate them for that. And when you're doing what you love and you got people around you who are also doing what they love, I think you got a chance to have some great energy. You got a chance to support each other every day. Man, we got high standards in this program, and everybody works hard every day to be accountable to them. I think when you have those things going on, you got the makings of a good team.
Yeah, this game was a Scott Shanley special. It's all about the defense. Half a yard average rushing play for UIW, 3 yards total per play.
And there was a reason we talked a lot about this Nichols defense in our season preview show. They were going to be the strength of this team. When you can take the ball away 4 times, score on defense, hold the team to 204 yards, and control the line of scrimmage, only 16 yards rushing, you're going to win a lot of football games. That's an outstanding job by the defense.
Yeah, it really was. It's been last year they played over there on the road, and Nichols lost 55-10. Instead, they dominated at home. And early this week, in between celebrating that big win, but now having to get ready to face a Troy team on the road, well, Tommy Rybacki still celebrating a little bit, rightfully so, with a big win to start everything off. But he was nice enough to join us to talk about that and what he sees for this team moving forward now with Troy on deck tonight. Well, the rest of the country is getting ready for Game 1 in college football for the Nichols Colonels. It's been there, done that. As Nichols opened the season 1 week ago in impressive fashion in front of the entire country. First game of the season here in the U.S., and they won in fine fashion. It's my pleasure to welcome in Tommy Rybacki, the new head coach at Nichols in year 1, Game 1, win 1. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to look ahead in just a moment, but if you don't mind, let's go back a few days and let's talk about the big weekend. The performance of your team, the environment down there, kicking off college football with the win the way you got it. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really a storybook start for us. Great win for our team. I'm so proud of our players. They worked incredibly hard for 8 months to put that together. And then also for this university and our community in this Bayou region, it was awesome to kick off the college football season here at home. And what a great day for everyone involved.
And I know you've talked to your team about the success that they've had even in the last few years. You've been there a while. You were a defensive coordinator under Tim Rebo. So a lot of those guys know what it takes to get success. But the buildup that you had, Coach, coming into this camp, how was your feeling during summer camp about the way the guys were rallying under now? What is your system and the new approach?
Yeah, I was proud of our approach. I was proud coming out of fall camp. I really felt good about where the team was, and we focused a lot on building the team throughout the 8 months, and especially in fall camp, leading into the season as we shifted gears and focused more on football. But I was happy with them and proud of them for the progress that they made, and it was great to be able to kick the season off and start the way that we were and keep the momentum moving forward.
You know, we said it 1 week ago on our preview show when I had a chance to talk to you down in Thibodaux. I asked you if you had gotten your own defensive coordinator or were you going to call the shots because that's what you did for so long under Coach Rebo. I know you have a DC, but tell me, Coach, on the sideline, when you were watching that defensive performance take place on Saturday, how much were you smiling and sitting back, trying to hold back the emotions, seeing what they were doing? Because the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, very proud of the entire team for their effort on Saturday. Anytime you put together a good defensive game or a good defensive performance, it's usually the result of a good team performance. And I thought offensively we were able to possess the ball, move the ball, and the defense's best friend is the offense keeping the ball and the defense being able to stay on the sideline. I thought against such a high-powered team and then also in the conditions that we were playing, the offense did a great job of setting the table for the defense to go out there and play well. And credit to Coach Monroe, our defensive coordinator. I thought he had the guys prepared, which is very, very important. And then I thought he also called a great game on Saturday. So proud to see that all come to fruition in the game.
Yeah, and certainly from the offensive side of the ball, it helped when the defense had so many tackles for loss, 11. It really helped flip the field position. And I'm sure, Coach, you would agree, and I don't know how much you addressed it afterwards. It was 20-6. It probably could have been 30, 32, 34-6. There were missed opportunities left on the field. Did you talk about that on the offense, saying, hey, we did good, but guess what? We could have done even better?
Oh, of course. Throughout the team, there were opportunities to do better in that game, and that's our job as coaches, to go to work this week, identify and fix the issues that were out there. It's great to be able to win a game and still come back and say, hey, these are things that we can improve on to get better, so that next week we can play better.
I know a lot of people were looking forward to this game because they saw the number 4 in front of UIW, and they know they're the defending Southland Conference champs. So I'm sure you used a lot of that as the build-up to this game, and I'm sure the players really wanted to send notice. And you did. So, Coach, how does the script flip now that you have to talk to your team? And I know it's only one game, but everybody saw what you did to the defending champs, 3 yards per play, a half yard per play on the rushing game. Now people are going to start targeting Nichols a little more. Have you talked to the team about, hey, don't buy into the headlines from week 1, but don't buy into these high headlines now into week 2?
Absolutely. You have to ignore all the noise that's out there and focus on your process. And we got a winning process here, things that we do every week, and championship habits that we have on a daily basis. And that's where our focus needs to be. High standards, accountability to them. It either is or is not. It doesn't matter what happened in the game before. You're either doing the things that you're supposed to do to prepare to play a game, or you're not. And we talk about the price of winning, and each week the price is going to go up, and it's going to require the right amount of investment and preparation in order to win games as the season goes on. So our players are excited about that. We ought to continue to get better. We ought to have better practices today than we had last week at this time, because we've done it before and we understand what to expect.
Last question, Coach, looking back, I know most coaches will always say, we have a 24-hour window. We're going to celebrate this, 24 hours, we're going to move on. It was your first game as head coach at home, first one in the nation. Did you stretch it to 30? Did you go to 36 hours? Did you give yourself a little more time before you went home and saw the girls and had to start doing dad duties?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime you got a little break, first to win the game for sure, and then have a little break from the kids is nice too. So I kind of stretched that out and went home a little bit later in the evening. But as soon as I got home, they knew I was there and they put me to work.
As we do look ahead, as promised, you're on the road now. You're stepping up into the Sun Belt Conference. You're going to face a Troy team on the road for your second game of the season. How has the preparation been for that game? Now that you got past your first game, which is in the conference, now you step up a little bit of a bigger challenge. How has the week been preparation, and your thoughts on what you'll see against Troy this weekend?
Yeah, you said it. Bigger challenge. Troy is a good football team. They're well coached, and they play a brand of football they have for a very long time that anybody in that area can be proud of. Similar to Nichols in that they're going to be hard nosed. They're going to play with great effort. They're going to be prepared to play, and so it'll be a tremendous challenge for our team. But I'm excited for it. It's a great time for us because we get to go on the road, and we want to be a great road team. And so this is our first rep at that and first opportunity. So that presents some new variables, and the preparation has gone well. Like we talked about a little bit, now that we've figured out what a game week looks like in season, in school, our guys should be getting better as the season goes on at handling what it takes to get ready to play a game.
Well, coaches, I had the pleasure to see you in person in Thibodaux 2 or 3 weeks ago. Congratulations, not only on the head coaching job, but your first win, the way that you got it done. It was so impressive. It's our pleasure to be covering you here on Game Notes. We wish you the best of luck, and hey, I look forward to talking to you later in the season, if that's okay with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you all.
We appreciate Coach giving us the time. You can still see that smile on his face from the way the Colonels played. How about the matchup that we have? It's a morning matchup down in New Orleans, down there at Yeoman Stadium, where Tulane will be hosting Northwestern. They lead the all-time series 3-1. This game will be broadcast on ESPNU. Scott, not a rare thing to see Tulane, especially recently, playing a bigger school, because they've played Kansas State the last couple of years home and away. Now they get Northwestern coming down to kick off the season. Again, another big conference versus big conference matchup.
Yeah, I like the matchup. I think when you look at Northwestern, they're constantly kind of picked in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten. And the dangerous thing about Northwestern is every year they'll show up against Michigan or Nebraska or Wisconsin, and they'll play outstanding football. They have a lot of really smart, intelligent guys who play really tough, hard-nosed football, and they're pretty good at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a good challenge, but there's going to be a challenge for Northwestern that I think they may be underestimating a little bit, and that's temperature's a little bit different up north compared to down south.
Yeah, you think there happens to be a little bit of a cool front moving through South Louisiana. Maybe Tulane wants it to hold off just a little bit to try to give into that humidity. As we talked about on our preview show 1 week ago, it's been a four-headed monster in the battle for quarterback position. Head coach John Sumrall still trying to make that final decision. Might be using more than one, but he said when it comes game time here later this morning, his team will be ready to go.
The challenge is real in playing 3 P4s and opening up with a Big Ten team, and so I think you have to kind of really just focus on one game at a time. Not to be coach speak, but I'm not making it any bigger than it is. It's a really good opponent, a well-coached team. It's got big physical, athletic guys, and we've got to be ready to go. I mean, it's going to be a challenge.
We practice a lot of tempo, so I know that we're going to hit them with a lot of tempo to get their heart raced and get them tired quickly, because obviously we already down here in South Louisiana and we're used to the weather, and they may have obstacles they run into during the game, cramps maybe, but we've been preparing very well for that.
They're looking at us going, all right, we know what Tulane did on offense last year, and who's going to be the quarterback? Well, they got to go back and watch Iowa tape and BYU tape and Ball State tape and all this other tape. And so I think the opening game, there's so many more unknowns than ever before, when in the past there might be a transfer or two, right? And then there would also maybe be a coordinator change or something that might change the schematics. But now, you're looking at like, we got 60 new guys, and so there's just so many new people that there's a lot more unknowns, I think, going into a game one than ever before. And I think because of that, I watched those week 0 games very closely. I think early in the year, more games are lost than won. It's like, how do you just play the game clean? And we try to do a good job around here of football IQ and teach the game, and you can cover things so you're blue in the face, but getting guys to really hone in on those little details that can make up the difference in a game when little details matter.
Well, Scott, to summarize what John Sumrall just said, welcome to the new era of college football. No longer is it just one quarterback. You're a defensive guy. Yeah. So now you're having to prepare for 4 different quarterbacks that all moved in from 4 different systems, and you have to prepare for what Tulane's system is, right? What you think it is anyway. What are the challenges now for what teams have to do?
Yeah, I think that's the most difficult part, because a lot of times you'll have transfers come in and you can watch tape of them at their previous school and you can get an idea, is a guy fast? Does he have a rocket arm? Is he more of a drop back passer, or is he out of the pocket guy? So you can get an idea of what a strength skill set of a guy is. But now the challenge comes to your point is, how do they incorporate him into this new offense? Is the new offense going to use them the same way? And when they don't, that can be a huge advantage for Tulane if you have no idea how they're using these players.
And you can see these teams, unlike, say, a Garrett Nussmeier, where he's the starting quarterback. We've already heard from Sonny Cumbie, Frank Selfo, now John Sumrall. They're not going to tell you until the end. They're going to make you wait till the very last minute to figure out what you have to do.
Again, another huge advantage. Yeah. This first game of the year is always tough because there's different players, different schemes. How are we going to do things differently? So you don't really get a true grasp on what a team is until weeks 2 and 3 and 4, when they kind of show what their identity is, what they like to do down and distance wise. And I think Coach Sumrall, when he's talking about those little details of the game, I think when you have a smart football team who understands situational football, what do we do on 1st and 10? How do we react on 3rd and short? How are we going to play goal line? When you get a team who understands those situations, that's when you become dangerous.
Well, we're talking about preparing for quarterbacks in that Tulane Northwestern game. How about what Louisiana is going to be facing when they host Rice in the kickoff game? The Cajuns announced 2 weeks ago, Walker Howard, as we talked about on our preview show, is going to be the starter for the Cajuns. But they welcome in the Rice Owls, who are now coached by Scott Abel. Well, not only do they have to get used to Scott Abel's system, guess what offensive system he brings with Rice? He brings the triple option, something you rarely see in college football, and quite the challenge that the Cajuns have to be ready for.
These guys are like true triple option out of the pistol set, out of a short pistol. So it's more like Army Navy out of the pistol than it is really what Kennesaw was doing, if that makes any sense. Like the jet orbit motions, true triple, it's dive option, it's straight downhill. It's not really, they're not zoning it up. I mean, they're running off the ball, they're trying to dent it back, it's a little bit different probably than what Kennesaw was last year as well. The thing with Kennesaw is at least we kind of knew the personnel they had. We have no idea, we're watching Davidson, which naturally none of those guys are at Rice. So you're trying to piece that together and figuring out, even some of the players we know that they have that we've recruited or, we've evaluated along the way, you don't really know how it fits. So it's a unique deal. You just got to play really disciplined football and defense. The option, it tests your physicality, obviously. It tests your eye discipline. It tests your ability to be able to tackle an open field, and it certainly tests your ability to be able to get off of blocks and rally the football.
It's going to be tough to match up, but boy, it sure is fun to watch to see how they will match it up. It's a 7 o'clock kick there at the brand newly renovated Our Lady of Lourdes $65 million renovation stadium there in Lafayette. Hope you enjoy that when this series tied up at 3, and you can watch it being streamed on ESPN+. We were talking about earlier the games being played in Week 0 with Nichols and the big win they had. There was another state team that played Week 0, the Southern Jaguars. It was part of the SWAC-MEAC Challenge as they left Louisiana, went over to the East Coast. They're facing North Carolina Central. Let's take and show you how the Jags turned out in their first game for Week 0. Good matchup early. It's what happened late for the Jaguars where things turned around as Terrence Graves gets his Jags set with sights on once again winning the SWAC West and getting back to the conference championship and getting a win there in the conference championship. NC Central's up 7-0 mid-first quarter. Cameron McCoy takes a shotgun snap, a quick hesitation, and he quickly gets to the house. And I mean breaking away from everybody. 69 yards. Scott, watch the back angle. It's that one little hesitation. He's off to the races.
I would just keep running this play with that speed right there. That looks like Robert Griffin Jr. back in the day with Baylor. That's a great job by the coaching staff understanding what his skill set is and putting him in a situation like that.
Now, the Jags are down 10-7 in the second. Another big play. Former LSU running back, now Jag, Trey Holly up the middle. He keeps his balance. He's gone. 80 yards to the end zone, and the Jags lead 14-10. That lead held up for one commercial break and about 12 seconds because then NC Central, with under 2 minutes to go, they break this big play. Senior Chris Mosley up the middle, 49 yards. He had 15 carries for $174 in this contest. 17-14, NC Central has the lead at the half. Early third quarter, Walker Harris to Kyle Morgan for the touchdown. 24-14, NC Central at this point. They would add to it later in the third. Alan Maggio, he's going to score from 6 yards out, and that would make the game 31-14. The Jags gave up 414 yards of offense. They were blanked in the second half. 0 for 6 on third downs in the second half. And it was that kind of afternoon and evening for the Jaguars as they lose at 31-14. The big day for Trey Holly, not enough for the Jags, who were just 2 for 10 on third down. Terrence Graves talked about it afterwards.
It's a very humbling experience. As I said before, I think these guys, some of them got a little too caught up in reading the newspaper clippings and watching the videos about how great we are defensively. And as I tell them all the time, you got to play this game. You can't talk it. All the pats on the back mean nothing if you don't go out and execute. And I think that we got to be better overall up in the front 6, front 7. We got to play a lot better, and we will be a lot better.
Scott, I know your ears are perking up when he talks about getting better on the front line, but offensively, you've got to give him some help. Just 2 for 10 on third downs in the game, 0 for 6 in the second half.
Yeah, when you see third down conversions like that, usually you're in too long of a down and distance. You want to get into 3rd and 4 and short. That's when your playbook becomes huge. You can run almost any play. When you get into 3rd and long, you put your offensive line at a disadvantage and you put your quarterback at a disadvantage. So it's really about managing 1st and 2nd down.
And now earlier this week, Terrence Graves with the look ahead now for how they can learn from this loss and get ready for Mississippi Valley.
We got to get to the quarterback. We never moved the quarterback off his spot. And so we just got to work from the coaching standpoint to the player standpoint. We got to work to win the one-on-ones. Those guys slid to Kelby Givens all night. They chipped him. They did that. So when they're doing that, somebody else has to make plays. And that's just how it is. You got to make plays. If they're keying on one guy, somebody else has to step up and make plays.
We talked about that. When you have one standout player, everybody's going to know where he is on the field, so somebody else has to step up. Southern and Mississippi Valley, from it being a 4 o'clock kickoff this afternoon. Jaguars have dominated this series. It'd be great for them to get back in the win column for what is now week 1 for them, game 2 for the Jags this season. And from the Jaguars and Mississippi Valley, we turn our attention to Grambling and what the Tigers will be facing.
It could be easy 60-40. You know, we kind of did that at Nebraska, and I know people say you keep going to your Nebraska roots, but I won a lot of games at Nebraska as a player, and I kind of could see what Coach Osborne did at Nebraska, playing a 2-quarterback system and how to do it. You make it one game plan, but they got to get ready for 2 quarterbacks. So I understand exactly what we need to do, but it should be 60-40. It's going to be a very emotional game for me against Langston because Langston gave me my first shot as a head coach. So it's going to be some ups and some downs with emotions on both sides. because I'm still close with the people at Langston. It's a game that we're looking forward to, but it's a game that I'm not looking forward to because of the emotions that run through me, because Langston shaped me into the coach I am today. So they gave me an opportunity to be able to see this thing at the lowest level in college football with NAIA, and they did a fantastic job.
You can see the emotions because of his experience at Langston, now in his second year as head coach at Grambling. This game will be played over at Independence Stadium in Shreveport, 7 o'clock tonight. It will be broadcast on SWAC TV. And again, Scott, we're seeing the underlying theme. You heard him talk about his playing days where you are, GBR, go Big Red at Nebraska. 60-40 at the quarterback situation, trying to find that balance, in a way keeping opponents off balance, but then in a way still trying to identify your own players.
Yeah, I think early on in the season, some of these percentages are going to change. Teams are still trying to figure out who can do what. And a lot of times it's some guys practice better than they play under the lights. And you're trying to figure that out early in the year. But every time Coach Joseph brings up those Cornhuskers, it takes me back to being 10 years old and watching Mickey wear that number 2 for the red and white. He was outstanding player, outstanding option quarterback. So if there's anybody who can figure out how to use these quarterbacks and what their skill set is, it's Mickey Joseph.
And it'll be interesting to see how much they run in this ball game too, because last year it was a lot of passing. This year he said this at media day over and over. We're going to run. To run. He really wants to establish the ground game on offense.
Again, he said people get tired of talking about Nebraska. That's what he grew up in. That's where he went to college, where Nebraska would own the line of scrimmage. It was triple option. It was run the ball down your throat, and then we'll set up a play action pass. But we're going to run the ball until you stop us. He's grown up in that, and that's what he wants to do.
It is a day full of football. Everybody's excited. Week 1 and all the matchups we have throughout the state. Hope you enjoyed getting ready for kickoff, and don't forget to join us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and then again at 10 o'clock for post-game notes. We will wrap up all the action, but until then, for Scott Shanley, I'm Victor Howell. Enjoy the games, everybody.
Major production funding for Game Notes is provided by Southern University and A&M College and Hargrove Engineers and Constructors, with additional support from Lafayette Travel, the LSU Alumni Association, and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center at LSU, Louisiana Tech University, Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Northwestern State University, Red Stick Sports, the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion, the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you. Thank you.